let's not assume it's a prescription, right? Let's assume.
Well, but it has to be. It has to be, though. If it's that difficult, then it is being pursued from the lens of this is what I should do, and this is what I'm supposed to do, and this is what I've been told is a good idea because it may benefit me down the road, and this is a good habit to get into. And those are very cosmetic things. Those don't have the power to allow someone to give away the family jewels. For someone to let go, this is all like sports psychology, really this hot air, be in the present and, forget about the outcome, let go. And what no one seems to understand is that the only reason that you're being told that is because it's an ulterior motive to help you play better. So it's all a trick. And the mind recognizes that trick. So it's just an ulterior motive. It's just an avenue to get somewhere. It's a means to an end. And because it's a means to an end, it has no power. It isn't done genuinely. It isn't done because the person arrived there and discovered that if I don't do it, there is incredible ruin. And that ruin is not something that I've been told about that theoretically may occur in the future. I've experienced that ruin. I've experienced how my life is completely in shambles when the outcome of a tournament dictates how I look and feel about my life and my profession. So everything has to be genuine. You can't come at it through prescriptive means. So I think that's why it's difficult. It isn't just difficult. It's, like I said, it's virtually impossible.
So none of us are immune to the feeling of elation when we've succeeded. At the same time, mm-hmm. none of us are immune to the fear of failure. Right? We're not in your headspace yet. If a business fails, unless you're Yoda, you probably feel really bad about it. Do you want that mm-hmm. feeling? Are you referring to that feeling when that feeling gets so bad? Is that where I have to go in order to be able to get to that level of mind share where I don't give a damn about the outcome anymore? And with that, I am on a path to that legendary status that you're talking about?
No one ever looks at where they are because they're so busy looking at where they should be. So no one ever looks to see what are the consequences of the way that I view things. What are the consequences that not that I will experience, but that I've already experienced? Everyone's just looking at the results of whether the outcome of the game or the business turned out. Well, what about the results of the way in which you've been looking at the game? What about those results? What about the consequences, not of the game, but what about the consequences of the way that you've been looking at it? So you talk about, well, if the business fails and the person feels sad. Well, that isn't the first time that they've felt dejected. They've been feeling dejected the entire time. It wasn't just when it failed. When it failed, they felt the dejection of failure. But all along, they've been feeling the dejection of fear. So why is it that no one's looking at that? Why is no one looking at the fact that, why is everyone looking at the dramatic climax? Why are they not looking and saying, but for the last 20 years, I've lived in fear and anxiety. So that's already happened. That isn't something that's going to happen. That's where the person has been living. So why not look at that outcome and say, well, why is it that I've been living in fear and anxiety for all these years? And then ask that question. And then that will take a person to the place where he sees, well, I've been living in fear and anxiety because the way in which I've been looking at the game is completely detrimental to how I feel. It's not sustainable. That is the road of truth. Not the hysteria over how can a person lose his company and still not be dejected. Forget that question. Look at where the person already is. Now, your question would be valid if you said, for the last 20 years I've been building a company and I've been joyful and peaceful the entire time. And then when the company failed, then I became dejected, and that was the first time, only when it failed. I would say fine. Now, that's a valid question, but that isn't happening. Everyone's distraught from beginning to end. So why not examine the level of distraughtness that the person's been swimming in for years? No one's looking at that.
I totally agree with you.